For many, it's a real barrier. It messes with travel plans, makes people miss out on family things, job opportunities, even those big life adventures.
Right, it really limits things.
It does, and it brings up a key question, doesn't it? Why?
Hi everyone, and welcome to Cleared for Takeoff Talk, Fear-Free Flying and Aviation Insights explained by your cabin crew friend. Flying today or anytime soon? Sit with me. I'll explain what's happening every step of the way. I'm Paula, your flight attendant friend, and this is a podcast series created especially for those who sometimes feel uneasy about flying. This is where we tackle real fears, or just want to peek behind the curtain of aviation and access honest insights straight from the crew. Today I'm joined by two amazing guests, Andreea, a current flight attendant, and Mohammed, an Airbus 319, 320, 321 series aircraft pilot. Together we'll share stories, practical tips, and insider knowledge that will hopefully make your next flight a whole lot calmer. So grab a coffee, put on your headphones, or if you're listening right now while you're in the air, take a deep breath and relax. You're in safe hands. Let's make this journey smooth, calm, and maybe even a little fun. Welcome aboard!
Okay, picture this. You're planning that amazing trip, maybe somewhere you've always dreamed of going. You're excited, thinking about the sights, the food, and then bam, that little thought creeps in, the flight. And suddenly, that excitement, it kind of deflates, replaced by this knot in your stomach. It's a feeling so many of us know, that dread about flying. So today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, the fear of flying, aerophobia, as it's formally known. We found this really fantastic article in Travel Plus Leisure from just this March, How to Get Over Your Fear of Flying, according to experts. And our mission today, to pull out the most practical strategies, the actionable tips, the surprising insights from these experts. We want to arm you with tools to manage those airborne jitters, maybe even conquer them so your next trip feels, well, comfortable.
Yeah, and it's amazing just how many people feel this way. It's incredibly common. We're talking based on 2024 data, something like 25 million Americans have some level of fear about flying. And it's not just, a little bit of nervousness. For many, it's a real barrier. It messes with travel plans, makes people miss out on family things, job opportunities, even those big life adventures.
Right, it really limits things.
It does, and it brings up a key question, doesn't it? Why? Why is this fear so widespread? One of the experts in the article, Jenny Manpa, a licensed clinical social worker, she points out something crucial. Everyone's fear is unique. It's personal. For one person, it might stem from, say, a really bumpy flight years ago. For another, it could be part of a larger anxiety issue. Or maybe it's just not knowing how these massive machines actually stay in the air. It feels unnatural. Understanding your specific reasons, that's absolutely the first step.
That makes sense. It's not one size fits all. Okay, so let's unpack that first big step then. Understanding the why. The experts seem pretty clear. Before you can really tackle this fear, you got to dig into where it comes from. Like finding the source of a river, you said. You need to know where it starts.
Precisely. Jenny Manpa really stresses looking into the emotional roots of the fear. And this isn't just a quick check-in. It's about digging a bit deeper, maybe thinking back. Was there a specific flight? Or maybe stories you heard as a kid, warnings about flying? Or maybe identifying beliefs you hold, like feeling trapped or a loss of control maybe, things that feed into the fear. The article suggests that really exploring this can uncover hidden triggers, things you weren't even aware of consciously. And facing those origins, maybe even through something like psychodynamic therapy, which helps bring past stuff into the present that can be really transformative.
So connecting the past to the present feeling.
Exactly. It helps you see how old stuff might be influencing how you feel now, and it gives you a chance to challenge those old stories you tell yourself.
Okay, understanding the roots is critical. But then what? Once you have some insight into the why, what about the doing? What are the actual strategies to, face the fear and maybe start changing your response? This is where it gets really interesting with the therapeutic approaches.
Yes, absolutely. So Sprun, who's a licensed clinical psychologist, she talks about exposure therapy. And it's considered very effective for phobias like this. The basic idea is, you gradually expose yourself to the thing you fear, step by step. While doing that, you learn techniques to calm your nervous system down. So you might start small. Maybe just watching videos of planes. Then perhaps visiting an airport, just being there, not flying yet. And you build up, maybe eventually taking a very short flight. It's like retraining your brain, teaching it, see, this is okay, we can handle this. You learn confidence instead of panic.
That sounds logical, building up like that. But I can also see how even just going to the airport might feel like a huge hurdle for someone really struggling. Is there something focused more on the thoughts, tackling the mental side before you even get near a plane?
Definitely. And that's where CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, comes in. It's another approach mentioned. Ashley Pena from Mission Connection explains how CBT helps you catch and, importantly, challenge those runaway irrational fears. The catastrophic thinking, the plane will crash, or I'm going to have a panic attack, everyone will stare. CBT gives you tools to question those thoughts. Like, okay, hold on. Is that thought 100% accurate? What's the actual evidence? What's a more realistic, balanced way to think about this? It helps you build like a mental defense against those worst case scenarios. You learn to swap out the scary thoughts for more rational ones. And a big plus, a lot of CBT for this can be done online, virtually, so you can do it from home. Very accessible.
It's amazing how much our internal chatter affects us.
Yeah.
And learning to manage it. Wow, okay, so we have understanding the roots, we have therapies like exposure and CBT, but sometimes you need something right now. Like the plane hits turbulence or just sitting there waiting, your nerves start firing. What can you do in that exact moment? The article had some really simple, practical tools for that, right?
Yes, really useful ones. Abersprung recommends box breathing, and it's simple but powerful. You inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold again for 4. Repeat. It sounds basic, but doing this specific rhythm actually helps regulate your nervous system. It calms that fight or flight response. It's like hitting a reset button for your body's anxiety level, right there in your seat.
4, 4, 4, 4, got it. And what about when your mind just spirals? The what if thoughts start racing. There was a grounding technique mentioned too.
Right, the 5-4-3-2-1 technique suggested by Ashley Pena. It's great for pulling you out of your head and back into the present. So wherever you are, maybe on the plane, maybe waiting to board you, deliberately notice. 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch or feel the seat texture, your clothes. 3 things you can hear, the engine hum, people talking. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste, maybe gum, water, a mint. It forces your brain to focus on your immediate senses, on the reality around you, instead of getting lost in fear.
That's clever. Using your senses to anchor yourself. And for people who like having a bit of tech support, there are apps too.
Rostalav Ignatov, a chief medical officer, mentions meditation and relaxation apps, like Headspace is one example given. Many of these apps have guided meditations or breathing exercises specifically designed for stressful situations, including flying. You can just pop in your earbuds, follow the guide. It gives you a calm voice, some structure, right when you need it on the flight, makes it feel more manageable.
Okay, so we've got the deeper therapies, the immediate coping tools. What about broader lifestyle things or mindset shifts? The article touched on some things that might seem less direct but still impactful, like what you eat or drink before flying.
Yeah, that was an interesting point from Erin Weinstein, a hypnotherapist. She really advises against alcohol and sugar before flying if you're prone to anxiety, which might seem counterintuitive, right? A lot of people think a drink will calm their nerves.
Totally. Or grabbing a candy bar.
Right. But she explains that while they might give you that quick feeling of relief, physiologically, they cause your blood sugar to spike and then crash. And that physical reaction, racing heart, feeling jittery, can feel a lot like anxiety or the start of a panic attack. So if you're already anxious about flying, that physical feeling can easily trigger the mental spiral. It's like adding fuel to the fire, essentially.
Wow, okay. So avoid the pre-flight wine or soda. Good tip. Erin Weinstein also mentioned something else intriguing. Hypnosis. Tapping into the subconscious.
Yes, she did. The idea is that hypnosis can help you create sort of a personal calm button. It could be a specific word, an image in your mind, or even a physical sensation that you learn to associate with deep relaxation through hypnosis. Then, when you feel anxiety rising, you can consciously use that trigger your calm button to shift yourself into a more relaxed state. She mentions you can find guided hypnosis tracks online, like on YouTube, or even get custom recordings made. It's about creating an internal resource for calm.
A calm button. I like that. And then there was something really simple, almost obvious, but probably quite effective.
Absolutely. Michelle English, who's an executive clinical manager, brings up the simple power of distraction. Just bring things to keep your mind occupied. A good book you can really get lost in, music you love, a movie. The more your brain is focused on something engaging, the less mental bandwidth it has left to worry and dwell on the fear. Keeping busy can really help calm the nerves and make the flight seem to go faster too. Don't underestimate it.
Makes sense. Consciously redirecting your focus. Okay, so we've covered a lot of internal strategies. What about engaging with the actual flight environment? Getting some external help or reassurance?
That's a good point. J.L. Searle, a clinical supervisor, suggests something very practical. Talk to the flight attendants before you take off. If you're feeling anxious, let them know. Ask questions you might have, maybe about turbulence, or just the flight in general. Just understanding a bit more about what's happening, hearing it from them, can demystify things. Knowing that turbulence is normal, like bumps in the road for a car, can be really reassuring. That little bit of human connection and factual information can really take the edge off the unknown.
Yeah, demystifying it helps remove some of the fear's power. And speaking of facts, let's talk about the data. The cold, hard facts about safety. Because fear often isn't rational, right? But maybe focusing on the actual statistics can help counter the feeling. What did the experts say about safety?
Oh, this is huge. Both Abra Sprung and Jenny Mainpaw really emphasize this. Flying is incredibly safe. Like, it's statistically one of the safest ways to travel. Sprung gives the odds of being in a plane crash are something like 1 in 11 million.
1 in 11 million, wow.
Yeah. It's staggering when you think about it. You're way, way more likely to have something happen driving your car to the airport. And MOPA adds another layer. Even in the extremely unlikely event of a crash, the survival rate is actually over 95%. Planes are designed with so much redundancy, they're built to handle way more than you might think severe turbulence, even lightning strikes. And the pilots, they train constantly for every possible scenario.
Yeah.
So really grounding yourself in that data, understanding the science and the safety protocols, that can be a powerful antidote to fear, replacing the what ifs with what is.
That really puts it in perspective. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. From digging into the why behind your fear with therapy like psychodynamic, to facing it head on with exposure or CBT. Then those immediate tools like box breathing, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding, plus lifestyle things like avoiding sugar, trying hypnosis, or just good old distraction. And finally, talking to the crew and trusting the safety data. It's quite a toolkit we've assembled here.
It really is. And if you look at the bigger picture, it all comes down to empowerment, doesn't it? Like Jenny Mainpaw said, the fear doesn't have to be in charge. By arming yourself with this knowledge, understanding your own mind, understanding the reality of air travel safety, you can genuinely find more comfort. You can improve your quality of life, make those trips happen. It's about taking back control from the fear.
Absolutely. So think about that for your next potential trip. What does this mean for you? Imagine those places you want to see, the people you want to visit. What could open up if that fear wasn't holding you back quite so much? Using these tools, understanding the fear, what destination that felt out of reach could suddenly seem possible? That's exciting to think about.
And maybe, just maybe, looking at how we tackle this specific fear using understanding, psychology, data, practical steps. Maybe that gives us some ideas. Ideas for how we could approach other anxieties or challenges in life too. The principles often overlap, whether we're facing fears on the ground or thousands of feet in the air.
The great final thought. Here's to soaring comfortably and maybe exploring more than just new places. Until next time.
Thanks so much for joining me on Cleared for Takeoff podcast. I hope today's conversation helped make the skies feel a little calmer and clearer for you. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow or subscribe so you'll be with us on future journeys. And if you're listening while you're actually on a flight, take a deep breath, sit back, and remember you're in safe hands. Until next time, here's to smooth skies and calm flights.